Hello and welcome to Science for Week 37. This is Tuesday, May 27th, 2021. Let's review what we learned in yesterday's lesson. We learned that many baby plants look a lot like their adult parents. We learned that many adult and baby plants have the same size and shape and the same parts. By the end of this lesson, the students will learn about the similarities and differences between mother plants and their babies. Now let's look at some mother plants and some baby plants. These are the mothers. This is an adult rose, an adult azalea, an adult petunia, an adult lily, an adult violet, and an adult chrysanthemum. Here are the babies. This is a baby chrysanthemum. This is a baby rose. This is a baby violet. This is a baby petunia. This is a baby azalea. And this is a baby lily. Let's match the mothers with the correct babies. Okay, so here's the adult rose, and here's a baby rose. Here's the adult violet, and here's the baby violet. Here's the adult lily with the baby lily. Here's the adult chrysanthemum, and here's the baby chrysanthemum. Here's the adult petunia, and here is the baby petunia. Here is the adult azalea, and here's the baby azalea. Now find your first drawing that you did yesterday of the adult plant and its baby plant. Is it a correctly drawn picture, or do you need to make corrections based on what you have learned about adult and baby plants? If you need to redraw the adult plant and plant baby, please do so now. You should now have a correct drawing of a plant adult and a plant baby. Here's an example. This is a baby and adult daffodil. Remember, adult and baby plants have the same shaped leaves and flower petals. Let's watch some videos about adult plants and their babies.
Hello Rangers, today we are going to learn about wetland plants, adults, and babies. What? You're telling me plants can be adults and babies too? You all know that there are living things in the world. If you close your eyes and think of some living things, the first thing you're going to think of are people and animals. Why are people and animal living things? Because they all need food, water, shelter, and air. Did you know plants need all of these things too? So wait, you're telling me that plants are living things? Yes, they are. All living things, plants included, eat, move, breathe, reproduce, that means have babies, and grow. And we know that plants start off very tiny and they grow. Have you ever tried to grow a plant? Let's check out this tomato plant. It starts as a seed. Now, that's not how I remember seeing tomatoes. I remember seeing tomatoes like big, juicy red fruit. But they actually start as a very small seed. And that seed, once it gets everything that living things need, food, water, shelter, and air, it's going to grow into a young plant. We call that the baby. That baby, if it gets what it needs, food, water, shelter, and air, it's going to grow and grow, just like you. And it will one day grow up to be a mature plant. We call this plant the adult. And that plant is going to grow flowers on it. Well, Miss Davis, what if it's a bush? Bushes will grow flowers on it as well, but they won't be as pretty as some of the flowers that you could think of, like roses and carnations, but they will grow flowers, and from those flowers will come one of two things. It will have fruit, and inside of that fruit will be hiding a seed, or it will just have a seed, and that seed will drop to the ground again and plant a new young plant. And this cycle keeps going on and on and on. That's why they are living things. They reproduce. They make new plants. Now let's check out some Florida wetland plants that have adults and babies. The first plant I want to look at is a red mangrove tree. Now, these trees are really, really cool. You can see this adult tree right here is in the water. Now, when you think of a tree, you think of the big, big trunk of the tree going up into the sky. Well, the first thing I see when I look at this red mangrove tree is the roots. Now, normally the roots of a tree would be underground, but with the red mangrove tree, if its roots were underground, it wouldn't get any air, and we know that all living things need air to survive. So the red mangrove tree has adapted to water, and it has pushed most of its roots up into the air so it can get its air. Now, let's check out what the red mangrove seed looks like. This is a really big seed because it's going to one day grow into a really big tree. Once the seed drops into the water, digs itself into the soil under the water, it is going to grow into a baby. Look at this cute little baby. I can only count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 roots. But if I try to count all those roots under the adult, oh my goodness, that would take forever. So this adult makes seeds. The seeds drop down into the ground and grow into a little baby mangrove, and that baby mangrove one day is going to turn into that huge adult mangrove tree. Let's check out another plant. This is a cattail grass. Now, cattail grass is really cool. It's a very tall grass, probably as tall as you. And if I look closely, I see some brown things at the top of some of those pieces of grass. What are those? Those are hiding thousands and thousands of seeds. Now, when that brown pocket opens, thousands of seeds will come out, and those seeds will dig into the ground. Once they get what they need, food, water, shelter, and air, it will grow into a baby cattail grass. And now look at this baby. It's a lot shorter than the adult. It hasn't gotten as tall as the adult yet, but where it would have its seeds nice and brown, it just looks green and a little bit of yellow. So it hasn't grown all the way. So the adult makes the seeds grow into a baby, and that baby one day will become an adult cattail. Now this next plant is probably one of my favorite Florida plants. It is called the American Beauty Bush. Now the adult bush looks like this. This bush is huge. It is taller than Miss Davis sometimes. And if you look very closely, you can see some purple in that bush. Now, let's zoom in. All of that purple are seeds. Now, these are actually in the form of a fruit called a berry, but they're not for eating. They're very poisonous, so please do not eat American Beauty Bush seeds. Inside of that berry, there are lots and lots of seeds, and when that seed falls to the ground, gets everything that it needs, it will one day turn into a baby American Beauty Bush. Now, we wouldn't even be able to tell this was an American Beauty Bush because I don't see any berries on it. Not yet. Babies don't grow them just quite yet. It needs to grow into an adult. So the adult will make the seeds. The seeds will turn into a baby, and that baby will one day become a beautiful American Beauty Bush. The last plant I want to talk about are everywhere. These are called palmetto bushes. Now, palmetto bushes look like this. You have definitely seen a palmetto bush. Now, palmetto bushes start as a seed, just like this, very green little, they almost look like grapes. They're not as big as grapes, but they start out that size and then they plant themselves. And they're very, very small as a baby, but they almost look exactly like they do as an adult, as a baby. They're just very, very tiny. So that adult turns into the seed turns into the baby, and that baby will one day be as big as an adult. Now, usually, if these are in the wild, they can grow very, very big, but if they grow in your yard, you can just make them a little bit smaller by trimming them, keep them nice and small. Well, those are all Florida wetland plants that start as babies. They start as seeds, become babies, and grow into adults that make seeds again. So when you're in the wetland, look out for some wetland plants.
Okay, let's look at another video about what your plants look like.
Hi, boys and girls. I'm here with a special guest. Say hello.
Hi, I'm Logan.
Logan's my son. Now, the reason why I have a special guest today is because I want to talk to you about how plants look like they're young and how they're very similar to each other. Just like people are living things, plants are living things. And because Logan's my son, there's some similarities between the two of us. We don't look exactly alike, right? No. However, there are some things that are the same about us. Okay. We both have about the same hair color. Our eye color is very similar to each other. We do some things that are the same. Let's say smile. Do we have the same smile? No. But in a lot of ways, we are very much alike. And so we're going to talk today about how plants are, adult plants are like their baby plants. Young plants look like their parents. This is a young/pine tree. It will grow to be a tall adult like the ones behind it. The young tree and the adults have a lot in common. They both have skinny green leaves called needles. They both have a stem or trunk. Even though they are alike, they have some differences. Okay, so here is the young/pine tree. Okay, and what it's telling us is that even though, see these ones in the back, these are the adult ones, even though they're not exactly alike, they still have things that are the same. For example, they both still have roots, they both have a stem, they both have leaves, or which we call needles, and even the needles are the same that are on the adult trees. And here's the close-up of the adult needles. Yeah, they're the same. Okay. It says the young/pine tree has soft needles. Its trunk is thin and bends easy. So because it's young, its trunk, right, or the stem, bends very easily. Unlike a big tree, you're not going to bend that. You're not going to bend the stem of a big tree. Okay. The adult/pine tree has a tall, thick trunk. It is covered with rough bark. So this is the adult. This is what it looks like. And the young pine tree, it doesn't have that yet. It has the stem, but it's not as big and thick as the adult plant is. However, when it grows up, it will have the same kind of trunk. The adult/pine tree has the same type of leaves as the young pine tree. This adult tree has pine cones. The young tree does not. So here it is. This is something that's different about the two of them. They have the same needles. However, only the pine cone only grows on the adult tree. That's because the pine cone is what holds the seeds, and only the adult plants have the seeds. Okay, so those are some things that are the same and different. Remember, plants are living things, so they are very similar to, they like to look like their parents. However, there's always some differences when they're young from when they are adults. Hi, boys and girls. I'm here with a special guest.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed your lesson about plants, adult plants, and their baby plants. And I hope you enjoyed these two videos about adult and baby plants and how they're alike and how they're different. As always, remember to complete your science independent activity. And thank you for watching.